Dr. Sen, thank you so much for coming here. My first question to you is, there's a set of behavioral interview questions which are very popular. I'll take an example. Tell me about a time when you had a conflict with your manager and how did you resolve it? Okay, now I may not have a lot of experience, but in the 7 years that I have worked in the software industry, I've never had a conflict with my manager. Okay, but it's the truth. And in such a situation, what do you do? Do you fabricate a story? Do you think about a time when you could have had a conflict with your manager? Or should you be honest and just say, I have never had a conflict, and then see where that goes?
So you asked me two questions. One is, when somebody asks a specific question on when you had a conflict with your manager, what did you do, what did you think, what did you feel? That's dangerous ground. For the simple reason, the person can concoct stories. And you are looking for the competency of conflict handling with a boss, which the person never had and therefore cannot be predicted in terms of what the person will do when there is a real conflict. So you are trying to find a competency which the person has not talked about. You are trying to unearth something which the person has not experienced before, a competency.
Yeah.
That is simply, to my mind, and to a good behavioral interviewer, just something they would avoid. They would like to ask you, for example, tell me of a challenging situation where you were at your best, you did your best, there were some good results or there could have been challenging results, but what did you do in those situations, difficult situations? And you could actually come up with this true story of how you managed to circumvent a conflict and still get the boss's approval. I would like to know that incident, and I would like to find the competency of how you negotiate, how you influence, rather than just how you managed conflict. Because of the simple reason that success has many paths. I need to understand what path you take, therefore which competency can I subscribe or ascribe to you, right? So yes. So the very danger of asking a leading question, which we avoid in a behavioral event interview, is to get mythical stories. And if I go deeper, you tell me a narrative, if I go deeper as a behavioral event interview person, I will smash the story to bits and I have lost a candidate, good candidate, and I have got a person really demoralized because they have been caught napping. The aim of the interviewer is not to put you on the mat, is to understand what are the competencies you have and how it will help my company, because I have a list of competencies required for the job. Do you match that criteria? And if you don't show the competency of conflict management, I'll simply not score you on that. That's fine. And I may find compensating competencies like influencing, negotiating, even politicking, which may be quite interesting and quite suitable for the position that I have. And if they ask you particular situations, for example, you can't help the interviewer asking you particular questions. For example, imagine
you had a conflict with your boss. Yeah.
Or say that, tell me about a time when you had a conflict with your boss. Two things. If you didn't have one, say, I didn't have a conflict with my boss, but there was a challenge in convincing the person on an idea that I had. So it could be a conflict of opinions or ideas, but there was no open conflict. But this is how I went about it. So I told my friend to put in a word that I have something that can really matter. So I'll know that you have influence. And my friend did that. It happened that next day boss came to me and said, I think you can try out your new idea. So I really know that you have influenced. So whatever you did in a circumstance which was similar to the one that they have asked for, please talk about that. If you didn't have any, then you say that I didn't have any. But the person would ask you, then give you specific such situations, a number of them. And the ones you can really score on, speak well on them. Speak about what you did, what you thought, what you felt, what were the results, who all were there, what did they do if you wish to. And then I think you are fine. You are fine. So, if you actually are faced by a situation, given situation, which your boss or the interviewer wants you to talk on, and you don't have a ready-made situation, there's nothing to panic. You have also navigated life and you have navigated situations. Talk about that.